They say you never really know someone until you see them in a crisis. I am a 911 dispatcher in Seattle. For 8 years, I have answered calls from people on the worst days of their lives. Car accidents, heart attacks, home invasions. You learn to stay calm, to keep your voice steady, no matter what you hear on the other end of the line. But nothing in my training prepared me for the call I received at 2:37 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. A woman screaming that her lover had stopped breathing. A voice I recognized immediately. My fiancé. Before we dive into what happened next, I would love to know where you are watching from. Drop your city in the comments below. And if you are curious about how I handled discovering my fiancé's betrayal while sitting in a dispatch center wearing a headset, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Because what I did in the hours that followed changed my life forever. Trust me, you will want to hear how this story ends. Let me take you back 3 years. I met Diane at a coffee shop in Capitol Hill on a rainy Saturday afternoon. She was sitting by the window with a book, and when I asked if the seat across from her was taken, she looked up with these warm brown eyes and said it was all mine. We talked for 2 hours straight. She was fascinated by my work as a dispatcher, asking thoughtful questions about what it was like to be someone's lifeline during an emergency. I was drawn to her confidence, the way she spoke about her marketing career with such passion and ambition. Our relationship grew naturally. Weekend trips to Mount Rainier, where we hiked trails and took photos of the mountain at sunrise. Evenings in my kitchen, where we experimented with new recipes, laughing when things went wrong. Movie nights on the couch with her head on my shoulder, her favorite blanket draped over both of us. Diane was smart and driven. She had this infectious laugh that made everyone around her smile. She remembered small details about my day and asked follow-up questions that showed she genuinely cared. 6 months ago, I proposed at Pike Place Market. We had walked through the market dozens of times, but that morning felt different. I got down on one knee near the flower stalls, surrounded by the smell of fresh blooms and the sound of vendors calling out their prices. She said yes before I even finished asking. Her hands shook as I slid the ring onto her finger. We had already sent out invitations. The venue was booked. In 3 months, she was supposed to become my wife. But looking back now, I can see the signs I ignored. About 3 months ago, Diane started coming home later. She blamed it on a major project at work, saying her team was under pressure to land a new client. I believed her because I wanted to. Her phone, which used to sit face up on the counter, was suddenly always face down. When I glanced at it once while she was in the shower, I noticed she had changed her passcode. When I asked about it later, she laughed it off and said she just wanted something easier to remember. She became less interested in wedding planning. Decisions about flowers and seating charts that once excited her now seemed to exhaust her. Every time I brought up the wedding, she would say she was too tired to think about it. Our weekend getaways, which we both loved, started getting canceled. Always work, always some urgent deadline. I told myself she was stressed. She had a demanding job. I should be understanding and supportive. That is what a good partner does. One evening, about a month before everything fell apart, I asked her directly. We were sitting at the dinner table, and she seemed distant. I reached across and took her hand. "Everything okay?" I asked. She smiled and squeezed my fingers. Of course, just busy at work. The way she said it was so casual, so convincing. I let it go. The night everything changed started like any other shift. Being a 911 dispatcher means you never know what the next call will bring. Some nights are chaos with back-to-back emergencies. Other nights are surprisingly quiet. That Tuesday night fell somewhere in between. A fender bender on Interstate 5. An elderly woman who needed help getting up after a fall. A noise complaint in Fremont. Standard calls that required attention, but nothing out of the ordinary. Around 2 a.m, I was thinking about Diane. She had told me she was having a girls' night at her friend Sarah's apartment. They were planning to watch movies and have wine. She had kissed me goodbye before my shift, telling me not to wait up. I had thought about texting her to say I loved her and would see her in the morning, but I did not want to interrupt if she was having fun with her friends. At 2:37 a.m., a new call came through the system. I pressed the button to answer my voice, falling into the calm, professional tone I had perfected over thousands of calls. 911, what is your emergency? What came next made my blood freeze. A woman's voice, high-pitched and panicked, screaming into the phone. Please help. My lover stopped breathing. He collapsed. I need an ambulance right now. The voice was unmistakable. Diane, my Diane, the woman I was supposed to marry in 3 months, but she was not calling about me. She was calling about someone else. Her lover, not her fiancé, not her friend. Her lover. My brain tried to process what I was hearing while my training kicked into autopilot. She was too panicked to recognize my voice through the phone. I forced myself to stay calm to do my job, even though my heart was shattering. Ma'am, please stay calm. What is your location? She gasped out an address, an apartment building in Belltown, not our home, not Sarah's place, somewhere I had never heard of. I typed the address into the system with shaking fingers, my professional mask firmly in place, even as everything inside me was breaking apart. I continued with the protocol, each question mechanical. Is he breathing? Is there a pulse? Her voice cracked as she answered. No pulse. Oh God, please hurry. She was crying genuine terror in every word. I knew that fear. I had heard it in hundreds of calls, but hearing it from her about another man felt like a knife twisting in my chest. I gave her instructions for CPR. I need you to start chest compressions. Place your hands on the center of his chest. Push hard and fast. I will count with you. My voice remained steady, guiding her through each step, while my mind raced with images I did not want to see. Diane, my Diane, leaning over another man, trying to save his life. In the background, I could hear her counting compressions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then a cough. The man groaned. His breathing returned ragged but present. Relief flooded her voice. He is breathing. Oh, thank God he is breathing. Ambulance is on the way, I told her. Stay with him. Keep monitoring his breathing. Help is arriving in approximately 4 minutes. She thanked me profusely, her words tumbling out in a grateful rush. Thank you so much. Then the line went dead. I sat frozen in my chair. Around me, the dispatch center hummed with activity. Radios crackled. Other dispatchers handled their calls. My colleague 2 desks over glanced at me. You okay, man? I nodded slowly. Yeah, just a tough call. The lie tasted bitter. I looked at the clock. 2:43 a.m. 6 minutes. That was all it took for my entire world to change. I checked the system to see the ambulance status. Units had arrived at the scene. Patient was being transported to Harborview Medical Center. Condition stable. Somewhere in that hospital, Diane was probably with him, holding his hand, worried about him. I pulled up the address again on my computer. The building was expensive, one of those modern high-rises with floor-to-ceiling windows and a doorman. I searched the building online. Average rent was $3,000 a month. Whoever this man was, he had money. The pieces fell into place with sickening clarity. The late nights, the changed passcode, the canceled weekend trips. Diane had told me she was staying at Sarah's tonight, but she was actually at this man's apartment. How many other times had she lied? How many nights had she been with him instead of where she claimed to be? I felt stupid. All the signs had been there, and I had ignored every single one because I loved her, because I trusted her, because I was planning to spend my life with her. But along with the pain came something else. Clarity. A strange cold calm settled over me. I had 4 hours before my shift ended at 7 a.m. 4 hours to figure out what to do next. I was not going to call her. I was not going to text her. She would come home eventually, probably with some story about her night at Sarah's. But I was not going to be there waiting with questions and tears. I pulled out my phone and texted Marcus, my best friend, who also worked dispatch but was off duty tonight. I need a huge favor. I will explain later. Can you meet me at my place at 5:30 a.m.? Bring boxes and tape. Marcus responded within 2 minutes. On my way, whatever you need. Next, I called a 24-hour moving company. I need a truck and 2 movers at my address by 6 a.m. This is an emergency situation. I will pay extra for the short notice. The woman on the phone barely hesitated. We can do that. She quoted me a price that was triple the normal rate. I agreed without blinking. Then I called a locksmith. I need locks changed at 9 a.m. this morning. Front door, back door, and garage. Can you do it? He could. Another premium price. I did not care. I texted Marcus again with more details. Meet me at my place at 5:30 a.m. Bring boxes and tape. We are packing all of Diane's things. He sent back a thumbs up. I spent the rest of my shift creating a mental inventory of everything Diane owned in our home. Her clothes in the closet, the shoes lined up by the door, bathroom products cluttering the counter, her desk in the spare bedroom where she sometimes worked from home, the books on her nightstand, the decorations she had insisted on buying. I pictured each item cataloging what belonged to her versus what we had bought together. The furniture we purchased as a couple would stay for now. We could figure that out later through lawyers if needed. But everything that was solely hers was leaving today. By the time 7 a.m. rolled around and my shift ended, I had a complete plan. My supervisor asked if I was feeling all right as I logged out. I must have looked rough. I smiled and told him I just needed some sleep. He patted my shoulder and told me to take care of myself. The drive home felt surreal. Seattle's morning traffic was building commuters heading to work while I drove toward the end of my relationship. The sun was rising over the mountains, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. It was beautiful. It felt wrong that the world could look so pretty when everything in my life was falling apart. Marcus was already parked outside my house when I arrived at 7:30. He got out of his car carrying 2 rolls of packing tape, a marker, and a stack of flattened boxes. He took one look at my face and pulled me into a hug. You want to tell me what happened? We walked inside and I explained everything. The call, the voice, the address. Diane calling another man her lover. Marcus listened without interrupting, his expression growing darker with every detail. When I finished, he set down the boxes with more force than necessary. Let us pack her stuff and get her out of your life. The moving truck arrived at 8 a.m. 2 professional movers stepped out ready to work. I directed them inside and showed them what needed to be packed. Everything in the master bedroom closet on the right side belonged to Diane. Her dresser drawers, the vanity in the bathroom loaded with skincare products and makeup, her hair dryer and straightener, everything in the spare bedroom she used as an office, laptop, documents, books about marketing strategies and business growth. Marcus and I worked alongside the movers. We were efficient and methodical. Each box was labeled clearly: clothes, bathroom, office, kitchen items. I found the coffee maker she loved, the one she bought because it made espresso drinks that almost tasted like her favorite cafe. Into a box it went, her collection of mugs with funny sayings, her favorite throw pillows from the couch, the plants she had insisted on filling the living room with, saying they made the space feel alive. I was careful with everything. This was not about revenge or destruction. It was about clean separation. I folded her clothes neatly. I wrapped her dishes in newspaper. I made sure her laptop was secured in bubble wrap. The movers commented on how organized I was. Most people in this situation are throwing things around. One of them said, "You are handling this really well." I thanked him but did not elaborate. In the back of the closet I found a shoebox filled with photos. Pictures of Diane with her family, her graduation photos, a few old pictures of her with ex-boyfriends from before we met. I packed those too. They were her memories and she should have them. But I left behind the photos of us together. the ones from our trips, the silly selfies we had taken, our engagement photos from Pike Place Market. Those needed more thought. I put them in a separate box in my own closet to deal with later. Her jewelry box went into a padded box. I did not inventory what was inside. The engagement ring she wore would stay with her since she had it on. That ring represented a promise I thought we were making together. Now it just represented a lie. But I was not petty enough to demand it back. Let her keep it. Let her remember what she destroyed. The kitchen was harder than I expected. We had cooked so many meals together in that space. I packed her favorite cookbook, the one with stains on the pages from the recipes we had tried. I packed the set of wooden spoons she bought at a farmer's market, the ceramic bowl she used for mixing. Each item held a memory, but I could not let sentiment slow me down. By 10:30, we had packed everything. 42 boxes total, stacked neatly in the garage and covered with a tarp. The movers loaded their truck and left. Marcus helped me carry a few final items out. He checked his watch. Locksmith should be here soon, right? I nodded. He is supposed to arrive at 9, but he texted that he is running a bit late. The locksmith showed up at 9:15, apologizing for the delay. No problem, I told him. He got to work immediately removing the old locks and installing new ones on the front door, back door, and garage. He handed me 3 keys when he finished. One for me, one spare, and one to give to my landlord if needed. I paid him and added a generous tip. He seemed to sense something was off, but was professional enough not to ask questions. Marcus left around 10:45 after another hug and a promise to check on me later. You did good, man. A lot of people would have lost it. You stayed in control. I appreciated his words more than I could express. After he drove away, I stood alone in my house. Our house. No, my house now. The space felt different, emptier. There were gaps on the walls where her artwork had hung. The bathroom counter was bare, without her products scattered across it. The closet had space I had not seen in 3 years. It should have felt sad, but mostly I felt relieved. Like a weight I had not realized I was carrying had been lifted. I sat at the kitchen table and pulled out a note card. My handwriting was steady as I wrote. Diane, I was the 911 operator who took your call at 2:37 a.m. Your belongings are packed in the garage. The locks have been changed. Please arrange to pick up your things within the week. Leave your key in the mailbox. Do not contact me. Edgar. I placed the note in the center of the kitchen counter where she would see it immediately. Then I went upstairs, took a shower, and changed into fresh clothes. I did not know when Diane would come home, but I wanted to be ready. I was not going to hide or avoid this. I was going to face it head-on with the same calm professionalism I brought to every emergency call. At 11 a.m., I heard a car pull into the driveway. My heart rate increased slightly, but I kept my breathing steady. I heard her footsteps on the walkway, then the sound of her key sliding into the lock. It did not turn. She tried again. I heard her confusion through the door. Edgar, are you home? Her voice was tired. She knocked. I walked to the door and opened it, standing in the doorway but not inviting her in. Diane looked exhausted. Her eyes were swollen and red. Her hair was messy. She stared at me confused. Edgar, my key does not work. Can you let me in? I did not move. Instead, I handed her the note card. Read this. She took it, her eyes scanning the words. I watched her face change as she processed each sentence. Confusion melted into shock. Shock drained into horror. Her skin went pale. All the color left her face. Edgar, she whispered, I can explain. It is not what you think. I kept my voice level. Your things are in the garage. You have 1 week to pick them up. She tried to push past the shock. It was a mistake, Kyle. He had too much to drink, and something went wrong. We did not mean for any of this to happen. The name hung in the air. Kyle. So now he had a name. Her coworker, Kyle, the one she had mentioned casually a few times, the one she said was on her team for that big project. "I do not want to hear it," I said. "We are done." "But Edgar, please." She reached for my hand. "Can we just talk about this? I love you." I gently pulled my hand away. "You called 911 for another man and referred to him as your lover. There is nothing to talk about." Tears streamed down her face. "It just happened. I was confused. I was going to end it. The wedding is still in 3 months. We can fix this." Her desperation was obvious, but it did not move me. "The wedding is canceled," I told her. "I will handle the vendors. You handle telling your family." She looked like I had slapped her. "You already canceled the wedding without even talking to me." "There is nothing to discuss," I replied. "You made your choice when you started sleeping with someone else." She grabbed my arm, her nails digging in slightly. "Edgar, please. 3 years together. Does that mean nothing to you?" I carefully removed her hand. "Those 3 years taught me exactly what I do not want in a partner. Thank you for that lesson." That broke her. She collapsed onto the porch steps, sobbing. Mascara ran down her cheeks in dark streaks. A neighbor walking their dog glanced over. I gave a small wave to signal everything was under control. Diane buried her face in her hands, shoulders shaking. I let her cry for a minute, then spoke firmly. "You need to leave now. Come back with a truck this week to get your things." She looked up at me, her face a mess of tears and smudged makeup. "I am so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you." Her voice was barely a whisper. "But you did," I said. "Goodbye, Diane." I stepped back inside and closed the door. I turned the new lock. I heard her crying on the other side for a few more minutes before finally hearing her footsteps retreat and her car start. Then silence. I stood in my living room taking in the quiet. It was strange how silent the house felt without her. But it was not a bad silence. It felt peaceful. I walked through each room, noticing all the small changes. The empty spaces where her things had been, the walls that needed new paint, the furniture that could be rearranged. I sat on the couch and let myself feel everything I had been holding back. The hurt, the betrayal, the anger at being lied to for months. But underneath all of that, there was something unexpected. Relief, a sense of freedom. I realized I had been carrying doubt for weeks, maybe months. Somewhere deep down, I had known something was wrong. I just had not wanted to face it. My phone buzzed. It was my mom. I had not told her yet. I took a deep breath and called her back. "Mom, I need to tell you something. The wedding is off." Diane and I broke up. There was a pause, then her voice filled with concern. "Oh, honey, what happened? Are you okay?" I gave her the abbreviated version. She cheated. I found out during a 911 call. I have already packed her things and changed the locks. Another pause longer this time. Then my mom said something I did not expect. "I am so sorry that happened, but I am incredibly proud of how you handled it. That takes real strength." Her words made my throat tight. "Thanks, Mom." Over the next hour, I made several more calls. The wedding venue to cancel our booking. I would lose the deposit, but I did not care. A text to my best man and groomsmen in our group chat. "Wedding canceled. Will explain soon." Their responses came quickly. "Sorry, man. We are here if you need anything." "Want us to come over?" I declined. I needed time alone to process everything. The next few days blurred together. On day 3, Diane's younger brother showed up with a truck. He was polite but clearly uncomfortable. I helped him load the boxes, working silently alongside him. When the truck was full, he turned to me. "I am sorry, man. She really messed up." I nodded. "Take care of yourself." He drove away, and that chapter of my life officially closed. I spent the following week deep cleaning the house. I scrubbed every surface, removing any trace of Diane. I repainted the bedroom, changing it from the sage green she had picked to a navy blue I preferred. I rearranged the furniture to suit my taste. I bought new plants to replace the ones she had taken, new artwork for the walls. I was not erasing her to be spiteful. I was making the space mine again. My friends rallied around me. Marcus organized a guys' night, pizza, beer, and video games in my living room. They did not treat me like I was broken. They just made me laugh and reminded me I had people who cared. That night, sitting on my couch surrounded by friends, I realized something important. I was going to be okay. Work became a refuge. I threw myself into my job with renewed focus, answering calls, helping people in crisis, saving lives when I could. My colleagues noticed a change in me. I seemed lighter, more present. One day, my captain pulled me aside in the break room. I heard about what happened with Diane. "You doing all right?" I smiled. "Better than all right, actually." I dodged a bullet. He clapped me on the shoulder. That is the right attitude. A month after everything fell apart, I found myself back at the cafe in Capitol Hill where Diane and I had first met. I ordered my usual coffee and sat by the window, the same spot where I had asked if the seat was taken 3 years ago. I half expected to feel sad or bitter, but I did not. Instead, I felt closure. I thought about all the red flags I had ignored, the late nights, the changed passcode, the distance. I had chosen not to see them because I did not want to believe someone I loved could betray me like that. But the truth had a way of coming out, even if it came through a 911 call at 2:37 in the morning. I did not regret the 3 years we spent together. We had good moments, happy memories, and I had learned valuable things about myself. I learned that I could stay calm under extreme pressure, that I could make rational decisions even when my heart was breaking. That quality was not just useful in my job. It was essential in life. I did not need a dramatic confrontation or a closure conversation with Diane. My actions had said everything that needed saying. I had taken control of the situation instead of letting my emotions control me. I had protected my dignity and my peace of mind. I started dating again casually, nothing serious. I was not in a rush. I enjoyed my independence. I picked up hobbies I had neglected. I went on solo trips. I spent quality time with friends and family. I was rediscovering who Edgar was outside of being part of a couple. The betrayal had hurt. There was no denying that. But I got to choose how I responded to that pain. I could have lashed out. I could have made a scene. I could have let anger consume me. Instead, I stayed calm. I made a plan. I executed it with precision. And I moved forward with my life. Sometimes people ask me how I stayed so composed when my world was falling apart. The answer is simple. I spent 8 years training to stay calm in emergencies, to think clearly when others are panicking, to be someone's steady voice when everything around them is chaos. That night, I became my own emergency responder. I saved myself. The worst moments in life reveal who you really are. They show you what you are made of. That night at 2:37 a.m., when I heard my fiancée call 911 for her lover, I discovered something about myself. I was stronger than I thought, more resilient, more capable of handling pain with grace. Life moved on. I moved on. The engagement ring I had given Diane never came back to me. I assumed she kept it or sold it. I did not care. It was just a symbol of something that no longer existed. What mattered was the lesson I learned from the whole experience. Trust your instincts. Pay attention to the warning signs. And when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. I learned to trust myself again, to know that I deserved better than someone who would lie to my face for months, to understand that being alone was better than being with someone who did not respect me or our relationship. Those lessons were worth more than any relationship that was built on deception. If I could go back and change what happened, would I? Probably not. Because that experience, as painful as it was, taught me exactly what I needed to know. It showed me my own strength. It revealed the quality of my friendships. It forced me to rebuild my life on my own terms. And it prepared me for something better in the future. So if you ever find yourself in that dispatch center answering a call that changes everything, remember this. You always have a choice in how you respond, and sometimes the calmest response is the strongest one. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to stay calm during a personal crisis? How did you handle discovering a truth that changed everything? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and share this with someone who might need to hear that they are stronger than they think. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember that you deserve honesty, respect, and real love in your life. Take care of yourself out there.